you have your scrap sheet of paper from yesterday, but if you don't, then we need to rewrite some things, okay? So here's what I taught you yesterday. From the decimal, we went 3 places over. The very first place we said was the tenths. Help me. The second place was the hundredths. Okay, and remember, I don't want it just to be me and Kaden today. And the third place was the what, class?
Thousandths.
Good, I like that better. Okay, and then I want you to draw arrows if you don't have your scrap paper going this way, and that's 10 times bigger each digit is. Do you remember this? Shake your head if you remember it. Okay, you need this on scrap paper. If you don't have this, do you have it written? Come on, I meant that. But if you go this way, you're getting 1/10 times smaller. Not waiting.
I didn't know the bottom part.
No, you do.
It's just the top part I didn't really understand.
That's why I told you guys it would have been a good idea to save your scrap sheet of paper from yesterday. Okay, so on number 1, I want us to mark out some of the way that they wrote some things, and I think it'll be easier for us if we write it this way. So instead of putting 0.08 is 10 times as great as, I want you to mark this out, and I want you to put greater than. 10 times greater than, and this is where I'm going to have some human help. Okay, 10 times greater than. Okay, so you 3 come up. Come on, Kiara, I need your help again.
Here, come up here.
Yeah, come right here, get in line.
Kiara.
Well, let Kiara come this time, Xander. Okay, Cooper, you can be in the middle, or it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. Okay, so remember, you watching, Xander? This is the decimal point. Hey, this is the decimal point. This would be scoot out just a little bit, out like toward, yeah. Okay, and if you need to turn and look a little bit at this number, because this is for y'all too. Here's the decimal point. So Caden's the 0. Xander, look. Kiara's the 8. And Cooper doesn't even have a number up here. So are you with me? This is the decimal. Caden's the 0. I'm getting it from right here. Kiara's the 8. And Cooper's down there. So let's see what it's asking. 0.08, that's her, is 10 times greater than. Who is Kiara greater than up here? Who is Kiara greater than? Say it. Kiara is greater than Cooper because anytime you go this way, you're getting bigger. So Kiara is bigger than Cooper. So if we took Kiara's 8 and we shoved it over here to Cooper, it would be this. Go sit down and watch me for a minute. If we took Kiara's 8, because this right here is Kaden, the 8 is Kiara, I need that 8 to be shoved right here, one more digit. So it would be 0.008, because she's bigger than Cooper. This is Cooper now. Are you tracking with me a little bit? Okay, who was this? Help me. This was Kaden. This was Kiara, and who was this? Cooper. And do you agree that Kiara is bigger than Cooper because she was going this way? Okay, let's do another one. Instead of putting 1/10 of, let's say smaller than. Okay, after you get smaller than, look up here. Okay, here we go. This is Kaden. Shake your head. Who is this right here? Kiara. Who is this right here?
Cooper.
Cooper. Who is Cooper smaller than? Here's Kaden. Here's Kiara. Who was Cooper smaller than? Who was right there by Cooper? Say it. Kiara. So that 2 needs to shove back and become Kiara. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to say 0.02. That needed to become where Kiara was. Okay, are you tracking? Here we go again. 10 times greater than. I think that'll be easier. So find your decimal and one place over. Here was the decimal. Who was right over here by the decimal? Say it.
Caden.
Caden. Who was Caden greater than? Who was right there by Caden?
Me.
So we got to shove that 5 over here and make it Kiara. So it would be point what?
0.
0, 5. Good, Caden. And then this last, let's say smaller than. Find your decimal. Who was this very first digit?
Me.
Caden. Who was this digit?
Kiara.
Kiara. Who was Kiara smaller than?
Me.
Yeah, so we got to shove this 7 back over and make it be you. So how would we do it? Point what?
7.
Not 0.07, but just 0.7. Good. 0.7. Good. Write each decimal like a fraction. Now, I'm not going to do every one of these with you because we did this yesterday. So take your pencil, darken that decimal, and count 1, 2, 3 digits over. Find your scrap paper. Find the decimal. Go 1, 2, 3 digits over. Where'd you land? Thousandths. So that would be 9 on top and 1,000 on bottom. In this section right here, 5 through 12, Xander, pick one. In this section right here. 7. So Xander, here's my decimal. I have 1 place. Look at your scratch sheet. What is 1 place over? 2 over 10. Good job. Or he could have said 2/10. Okay, Jake Lee, pick one more in this section right here. 11. See that decimal? I got 1 place over, Jake Lee. What's 1 place over to the right of my decimal?
6.
Yep, 6/10. Okay, it all depends on the place that it falls. What if it had been 2 places over? What would that have been? 6
Over 100.
hundredths. What if it would have been 3 places over? 6 thousandths. Good. I think you got that figured out. Now we're down at the bottom. Now it wants you to go backwards. It wants you to write each fraction like a decimal. So right here, 8 thousandths. Put your decimal point. And I don't think it would hurt for you to draw 3 digits, because 3 digits lands in the 1, 2, 3 thousandth spot. Okay? But I only got 8. 8's not going to take up 3 places. What am I going to do, Caden?
You're supposed to put 0.008.
You are exactly right. If you don't have enough digits to land in there, you got to put zeros in there, don't you? Bentley, pick one down at the bottom. Pick the hardest one. 17. Here we go. It's in the thousandths, so put a decimal point, and I would do 3 digits over if I were you, because that means the thousandth spot. So Bentley, is 111 going to take up all 3 places? She says it is. So that was pretty easy because you didn't have to put any zeros. Right? Shake your head if that makes sense. Okay, we'll do one more. Xander, pick one more. 16. It's thousandths place, so put your decimal and do 1, 2, 3 places over. But Xander, 29's not going to take all 3 places. What do I do, bud? Where? Do I put a 0 here, here, or here?
On the 10th.
The very first digit. Then 2, 9. Good job. Okay, I'm going to let you guys do the rest of the front. Turn to the back. Number 21. Tommy is beginning a science experiment in the lab. The instructions call for that many kilograms of potassium. Look what it wants you to do, and I'm going to underline it for you. Write that like a fraction and put that, I even put a square around the fraction. That's what you're going to do. So it all depends on the place that it lands, okay? I'm not going to do that with you, but I'm just kind of going over this to make sure that you get the highlights, okay? Number 22. Mount McKinley is the highest peak in North America with an elevation of that many feet. What's the value? That's what it's wanting. The value of the digit 3. Okay, that's all you have to do is tell me how much that 3 is worth. And it all depends on the place that it falls in. And by the way, this doesn't have decimals. So let's just go over these places. What would this place be? Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, ten thousands. Good. Number 23. George said that that number is that. Is he correct? And you have to decide if he's yes, he is correct, or no, he's not correct. And then don't forget this. Circle that. You have to explain. You have to tell me why he is wrong if he's wrong. Okay?
The number, like the correct part.
Yeah.
Not the correct explain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, number 24. The area of the continent of North America is 9,540,000 square miles. Here's what it's wanting you to do. It's wanting you to write it in expanded form with exponents. Circle those, or underline those. Expanded form with exponents, and I'll get you started. Okay, we did this last week and the week before, but I'll get you started. Do a parenthesis, and your very first number is 9. So you're gonna say 9 times. Now we gotta figure out the place it's in. So help me, here we go. Ones, tens, help me, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, what's this? Million. Now, if I write a million, I gotta figure out how many zeros that has in it. 1, 2, 3, what? 4, 5, 6. So what do I put right here?
6.
I put 6.
10 to the 6th.
Y'all said 6. Okay, 10 to the 6th power. There we go. Then I put a plus. And what am I going to put in my next parenthesis? What number?
5.
5. And I have to write it 10 to the, don't say it, but if that's 10 to the 6th power, then that's going to get 1 less every time, okay? What do you do when you get to zeros? You don't have to do anything. Aren't y'all glad there's a bunch of zeros in that problem? Okay. Hey, I'll give you time to work. Don't work ahead. I'll give you time to work in a minute. And look at 25. What part of the entire square is shaded? Write your answer as a fraction and a decimal. Underline that. You need 2 answers. You need a fraction and a decimal. How much is this whole square right here?
100.
It's out of 100, isn't it? So if I were you, I'm going to give you a huge hint. I'm going to put a decimal point, and I'm going to do 2 places over. Why did I do 2 places over? Because that's the what? 100th spot. So how much is shaded out of this?
7.
7. But 7's not going to take up 2 places. Don't say it, write it. Okay? Don't say it, write it. Okay? Now that took care of your decimal. But am I done? What else am I supposed to do? Write it like a...
Fraction.
Okay, write it. Don't tell me, write it. Write it like a fraction too. Number 26. Write the fraction 5/10. Xander, why don't you tell me how to write 5/10? How would I write that? Say points. It's got to land in the tenths.
0.5.
Okay, if I say 0.5, did that land in the tenths? Look, you gave me 2 places. Did that land in the tenths? No, it didn't land in the tenths. I got to land 1 digit over. So what do I write? Point what, Xander? 0.5. That takes care of that one. Kiara, how do I write 500ths? Say point.
0.05.
Yes. That takes care of that one. Bentley, what about 5,000ths? Say point. I agree. That landed in the thousandths. That took care of this one. But you're not done. Now you have to tell how are they related. And here's what I mean by that. You have to say each digit is 10 times bigger, or each digit is 1/10 smaller. You have to tell me, not now, but in a minute when I tell you to go, okay? Not now, but in a minute. You have to tell me either they're bigger or they're smaller. Number 27. I'm just going to give you the answer to number 27. It's power. It's power. Number 28. In 3 months, Harold watched a total of 40 minutes. The first thing I want you to do is underline total. Now, you got to be so smart in math that you got to be able to know immediately when you hear total that that means something.
Add.
It does mean add. You're exactly right. But look, they already gave us the answer. The total was 40 minutes. So we're going to add, 40 movies. We're going to have to add something together, but we already know the answer is 40. So look what I'm going to do already. I already know the answer is 40. So they must not want that answer. So let's see, we're talking about movies. He watched 12 movies in June, 13 movies in July. Here's the question. How many movies did he watch in what? August. So it's June plus July. Now, do we know how much you watched in August? That was the big question, wasn't it?
No.
So usually, since that's the missing information, usually we would put an X there. But let's read this. Write an equation using the variable. What letter do they want us to use? A. Why do you think they want us to use A? What does August start with? A. And by the way, you always do that in lowercase letters. Lowercase letters. So let's see if you like how I wrote this. And let's see if this makes sense. June plus July
Is.
plus August equals how many movies did he watch? 40. And what do we have to do? We've got to figure out what August is. So how in the world are we going to figure out what August is? What's the first step? Okay, hold on just a minute. You guys quit writing and listen to Caden because he's giving you a huge hint.
We first add 12 plus 13.
Okay, he says you got to add those two together
And then we gotta
first.
subtract 12
Don't say the answer.
12 and 13 to 40. And
After
then
you added those together, you've got to subtract it from 40, and that'll give you the answer for A. Good job. He's exactly right. Okay, last. 0.003 is 1/10 of which decimal? Mark this out and put smaller. It's smaller than what decimal? So after you write that, look up here. Okay, I just wrote it bigger. This was Caden. This was Kiara. Who was this?
Cooper.
Cooper. Who is Cooper smaller than? Who is he 1/10 smaller than?
Kiara.
Kiara. So move that 3 to where it's on top of Kiara. Would that be that?
No.
Would that be that?
Yes.
Yes. See, here it is. It's just me and Caden having our own little math problem. And I don't like that. Speak out. Because right now, I could give Caden an A+. I could give one person an A+ right now. 0.8 is 10 times as great. Mark this out and just put greater than. Okay, Caden, don't answer this.
Okay.
This is Caden. This is Caden. Who was right here beside Caden?
Kiara.
Kiara. And here was Cooper, okay? Caden is 10 times greater than who?
Kiara.
Kiara. Move that 8 over to where it's in Kiara. So don't say the answer out loud. You need to decide if that's A, B, C, or D. And then you need to do the rest, the front and the back, okay? And of course I'll help you.